the question people need to ask themselves is, why did he grow so fast? And I don't mean like what technique did he use. What I mean is, what void was there that allowed somebody to become that prevalent so quickly? When someone becomes that popular, that means someone's need wasn't being met. Do you understand? When something becomes that popular, that means there was a group of people that did not feel they were being heard. The 2008 election with Barack Obama, African Americans came out and voted in record numbers, and 95% of African Americans who voted for Barack Obama. During the 2016 election with Donald Trump got like coal manufacturers and coal miners in West Virginia felt like they weren't being heard, and they voted for Donald Trump in record numbers. He found a group of people that were not being heard, and then once they were being heard, they acted in mass. Andrew Tate did the same thing. Who are those men? Remember I said a third of men under the age of 30 are having no sex? Mm-hmm. Remember those guys? The problem is the other side, like especially like the left or certain feminists are like, well, they don't matter. I'm like, okay, that's fine that you don't think they matter, but they can still vote. They still have some money.
Right.
They still can take some action.
They can get you banned on social media.
For sure. So where did you think these men came from? And then they see Andrew Tate and they're surprised. I'm like, no, there was this huge group of men you just forgot. You know, like most women, when there's a guy behind the cash register at Walmart, and he's like a 5'5" Hispanic guy or Filipino, women don't look at him and say he's ugly. Women don't even fucking see him. They don't even see that he exists. These men were just being completely and totally ignored in their family, in education, with their job, and with their dating. They were completely being ignored. And then a guy comes out there and be like, hey, you know what? I think it's okay to be masculine. Now, he said some things I would have never repeated. I'm never going to say
Don't even say it.
Yeah. My mother's no one's property, right? Stuff like that. Like, there's something he said that especially once he started making like $1 million a month from War Room, I would have taken a lot of the stuff he was doing. If I had been his lawyer, I would have been like, hey man, some of these course stuff that you say, you got to get rid of this. I'm not going to tell you I'm like close friends with Andrew. I don't know him that well. But what I do know is that as an orator, he was probably the best communicator. In a short amount of time, he was the best communicator I'd ever seen of communicating a certain idea. And the more you listen to him, the less radical he sounded. The less you listen to him, the shorter versions you listen to him, the more radical he sounded. And
which is the perfect combination.
It was the perfect combination. Every interview he did was the highest rated interview on whatever that channel was, right? He would break the net record for Nelk Boys, or he'd break the record for, what's the guy's name in England? Pierce Morgan. He'd get higher numbers than Kanye, right? And this guy wasn't even famous 6 months ago. The question you need to ask, because I don't know, I know he's under arrest now. I don't know if he's guilty or innocent. What I do know is that the people who don't like him need to ask yourself the question, why does he exist? Is it because all men are just misogynists? Is that why? Is that the simple, reductive answer, that men are just stupid, troglodyte misogynists? Or was there a group of men that nobody was listening to?
And if you watch his content, he's operating from this level of like anger and like antagonism, where he's communicating in this really interesting way.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the majority of the world operates from that place.
Yeah.
They're in this like frustrated, anger way, and so he's speaking to them in that way that they're like, I haven't been spoken to this, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing, is like people either hate it or they gravitate to it because it's resonating with how they feel.